Lights, camera, rolling, action.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
He's looking at you, kid.
Say hello to my little friend!
Hi, this is Joe, and this is the Film Joe Podcast, where film talk happens.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Hi, I'm Joe, your host, and I'm here with Daisy.
Hello.
And welcome to the podcast where we talk about films, filmmakers, trends, the good, the bad, and the not so bad, all in the spirit and for the love of film. So this week, we will be covering films that had planned a sequel, but it never, ever happened. This will be an interesting one. So now keep in mind, we're not professional film critics here, far from, we're just a couple of movie fans who love to talk about films.
That's
All right, Dave. That's right. All right. So we will be giving a rating on each of these films. There's a couple of films we'll be doing on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we'll give a verdict at the end of it. Should it be a sequel or no sequel?
Okay. All right. Sounds fair.
All right. So, so overall, sometimes we have great films or not so great films, and they either had a sequel planned or just a sequel that popped up afterwards. And then sometimes they just don't have a sequel for one reason or another. And we're going to, go into these two films and discuss why and why we think or they should have had or should not have had a sequel. So what you been up to?
Nothing much. I just got something really awesome through the mail today.
What you get?
I usually go to the mailbox and it's just fucking bills. But today I got something super special. Well, I got myself a really awesome ass t-shirt from our friend Liz from Ouch Was That a Ghost?
Ooh, awesome.
Very awesome. I'm very stoked. I can't wait to wear it. I'm going to model it for you guys soon. So I want to say thank you, Liz. I love my t-shirt. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to wear the hell out of that.
Very cool. But you got to wash it eventually. You can't wear it constantly.
Oh, no, I'm going to wear it like night and day. I'm never going to take it off.
Oh, God. It's going to stand up on its own after a while.
I kid.
Well, I also have an Ouch Was That a Ghost t-shirt, and I wear it very much regularly. It's Bigfoot behind, front of some mountains, and it's really cool.
It's so freaking awesome.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Liz. We really appreciate it. All right. Guess what I just saw? I just finally got to watch, at the time of this recording, it just barely came out a couple of days ago, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. I've been afraid. I wanted you to do it first.
Oh, wow. Let me be the guinea pig, huh?
Yes, pretty much. Oink.
Well, you know what? It was actually pretty darn good.
Really?
It plays heavy on nostalgia. That's for sure. And it's heavy in fan service. And there's a lot of people who get turned off by that shit. And I mean, down to the music and the style of action and so forth. It is a Beverly Hills Cop film. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, as everyone has heard, obviously, at this point of that this podcast episode drops, I've already released my flash review on the film. And as you know, I did love it. And it was a lot of fun.
That's cool. I'm happy to hear that because, like I said, I remember when it was announced that what was it, Coming to America Part 2 was coming out.
Yes,
I was stoked, and I love that freaking movie. I love it, and I was so let down when I saw it. It was just it didn't have the magic that the first one did.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't get to see it. I wanted to. I really, really did. But for one reason or another, I just kept, pushing it back and further back. So I haven't seen it yet, and I do want to see it. But yeah, generally what I have heard about Coming to America Part 2 is pretty much the same, that it just doesn't have the same luster and same and fun as the original.
It didn't. It really didn't. I didn't care much for it, and I like poopy movies.
Right.
I'm pretty lenient when it comes to movies.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't care too much for it.
Yeah, and this one was great. I mean, it's I forgot the name of the director. It's a first time director actually.
Oh
Uh
wow.
yeah, Mark Malloy directed it. And
Hmm.
he did a pretty decent job. He really did. I mean, the first one was directed by Martin Brest, who's an amazing director. He did Midnight Run,
Hmm.
he did Scent of a Woman, and he did Beverly Hills Cop. So he's a pretty good director. The late great Tony Scott
Oh
directed the
wow.
second. Yeah, he directed the second one.
Hmm.
And now, what's funny, a little side story about Beverly Hills Cop 3 was that when it came about, the script came out and so forth, they chose a director that they thought, I guess, would be great fit for this. This
Hmm.
director directed Eddie Murphy in Trading Places,
Oh, okay. Awesome movie.
and he also directed him in Coming to America.
Oh, okay.
So it was almost a natural fit. And the director would be John Landis, who directed An American Werewolf in London and The
Mhm.
Blues Brothers. So you can't lose, right?
You would think so.
You would think. And it was horrible. It was really bad. They didn't bring any of the originals back for this one, for part
Oh,
three. Yeah, and it was mostly set in Detroit and in some city that was not Beverly Hills.
no, 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 no. Come on, it has to be in Beverly Hills.
Yeah. And so
Oh,
for this
shit.
new one, they go back to basics, and they do the whole Beverly Hills thing and so forth. There's a lot of callbacks, but yeah, if you get a chance, I highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you may not sit there and go, "Wow, this is the next best thing since sliced bread or whatever," but it's still a lot of fun. And
It's fun, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun.
yeah, exactly. So what do you say we jump into this week's episode now?
All right, yeah, let's go.
All right. So it's time to get into the sequels that never were. So for the first film, we're gonna go on a voyage, on a golden voyage.
What is this?
It's an alethiometer. It tells the truth. You are meant to have it. You keep the alethiometer to yourself. It's of the utmost importance to yourself, to all of us, and perhaps to all creation.
I propose to discover a world much like our own in a parallel universe.
That is heresy.
That is the truth.
Are you familiar with the prophecies of the witches?
You think she is that child? She must be found.
In a parallel universe, young Lyra Belacqua journeys to the far north to save her best friend and other kidnapped children from terrible experiments by a mysterious organization. The film we're talking about here is The Golden Compass from 2007, directed by Chris Weitz, and it stars Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig. So, believe it or not, this is only the second time I've seen this film.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and not that I didn't like it the first time around, because I really, really did. It had a great cast. I mean, you got what? Daniel Craig, Nicole Kidman, Ian McKellen, Sam Elliott, Christopher Lee, Mr. Dracula, or Count Dooku for Star Wars for you younger kids out there listening.
I didn't realize how many notables were in this movie. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, it was a pretty stacked cast. And, again, I really enjoyed it the first time around and was bummed out when it didn't get a sequel.
Yes.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, some films have a sequel intended before the movie gets released, and some just kind of fall upon it. It's like, whoa, we made $1 gazillion, we need a sequel. Well, this had an intended sequel.
Yeah, and I'm so surprised that it didn't do as well as they had hoped it would. I mean, the movie was it was beautifully done. I mean, the effects, the background, it was beautiful. I'm really surprised that it didn't do better.
Yeah. Now, one thing I did kind of note this time around watching it was this was the early, era of CGI being integrated into films. And the CG was it was just okay. But I don't think it took away from the story or the film itself.
I see. For me, being that I'm a kid from the 80s, these effects are fucking phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I've ever really had a moment where I said, oh, that CG is horrible. I appreciate the hell out of it. But I think that the biggest problem that this movie had was it has so many details,
Right.
so many things going on that were crammed. I mean, granted, it was a long movie. It was severely crammed into this movie.
Yeah, because the source material is a series of books.
Hmm.
And yeah, it definitely seemed rushed. It seemed cramped. It seemed like they're trying to give you way too much information so early on. In fact, for me, it kind of like, and maybe it's because I have the fucking attention span of a fly. I don't know.
It's confusing though, right?
It is. It's a little confusing. I mean, granted, you're able to get back on track and figure out what's going on. I mean, because it doesn't lose its direction, I don't think. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on there that you can also tell it's like there's stuff maybe that have been omitted. Yeah.
Yes, yes. You know, I'm watching it and I'm trying so hard to grasp the concept of this dust. And right when I think I've figured it out, it just kind of slips away from me.
Yeah. And I think the reason for that simply is because, as is with a lot of elements of this film, like the motives behind certain characters, the origin or the backstory behind certain characters, you can tell there's something there, but we never get to it, and that's because they were intended for the sequel.
Exactly. And oh my god, you know what? You have no idea how pissed I was how they left it. You know, I'm watching the movie, I'm like, okay, so now they're gonna go after the uncle now. And then it
Right.
fucking ends. And I'm like, oh man, I have to wait for the sequel. And then I watched this like way after the fact, after it was released, maybe like a year or two after the fact.
Okay.
And so I'm watching it and I'm really digging it. I think it's really cool. It ends, they're in that
A hot air balloon.
that hot air balloon, and they're gonna go after they're gonna go find the uncle.
Right. Which
And then it ends right there.
it's like, oh shit. And that's what I think. I mean, they purposely, and I think it worked against this film overall, because I think some films within like a franchise, within sequels like Lord of the Rings and so forth, a lot of them, with exception, I don't know Lord of the Rings or not, but there's some films they're standalone. They can stay on their own, like maybe Planet of the Apes, the new ones.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you can watch the first one and not, okay, you really don't need the sequel, but you do need the sequel and so forth. The entire movie was a build-up. It was almost like the first act in a story.
Yeah, it was. And then I was royally pissed when somebody told me, "Oh, didn't you know they're not going to make a second one?"
You're like, really?
I was so invested in this shit. I'm like, really? I broke my brain trying to fucking figure out this goddamn dust, only to be told that I'm not going to get a second chance to figure this shit out.
Right. And it's true because towards the end of the movie, because, okay, what is this little girl? She's at this special school, and her uncle, I guess he's part of the administration or part of the board of regents or something.
It's like a scholar.
Like a scholar, and which is played by Daniel Craig, Mr. James Bond.
Yes.
And he has this theory about dust and that it leads to other alternate universes and so forth. And he wants to go on this expedition to the far north, and they grant him this journey. Now, the little girl wants to go with him, which is his niece. And, but he's like, no, but I'm going to give you something special. Well, no, he doesn't give her shit.
No, I want to see somebody from the school gives it, like a headmaster gives it to her.
Yeah. So he takes off on this mission to find dust in this parallel universe. And so there's this conspiracy within, I guess, because and it kind of reflects how like the Catholic Church is. It's like, this is doctrine. This is the way, this is the truth. And there is no other truth. And if there's any possibility of any alternate reality or alternate truth, they'll try to suppress the secrets.
Exactly.
I sound like Dan Brown, but you know what I mean.
No. It's yeah. I totally do.
Yeah, and so he goes on this mission. They try to stop him. They try to kill him. Meanwhile, the little girl, there's this, I guess, what was it? Some administrator. He's like, well, this belongs to you. I'm going to give this to you, and he gives her a golden compass, which is a magic compass that tells the truth. It's like you ask questions, and it tells you the truth.
And so I think it's upon the visit of Nicole Kidman's character, Miss Couture.
You're right.
Yeah, so she takes an interest in this little girl.
But
and
why?
But why exactly? And that gentleman, he's like totally like not really trusting of him, but he has no choice but to let the little girl go with her. So as she's leaving, he gives her the compass, but tells her to keep it secret.
Which she doesn't, but She's a dumb kid, you know?
Yeah, not to show the Miss Couture.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so what's up with this lady?
And of course, this leads her on a journey. She escapes from the school and she goes on this journey trying to find her uncle because she finds out that they're trying to murder her uncle. And so he's in danger. And so she goes on this and she meets all kinds of people and so forth. And towards the end, I'd say it was maybe the last act of the film. She finds out that it's not her uncle, it's her father.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Miss Coulter, played by Nicole Kidman, is her mother.
That's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, tell you, yeah. So it's like it's like dun dun dun. So all this is set up, and finally, she gets together with this group of I guess alternate universe gypsies. They're called the Gypsum, and they go on her with her on this journey on a air balloon that's piloted by Sam Elliott, the only man who can wear a mustache that huge and be that fucking cool.
I love that character, by the way. Did you ever see the show?
No, I haven't watched the show.
His character in the show is played by Lynn, the Puerto Rican dude. Lynn Miranda.
Miranda, yes.
Yeah, oh my god, I loved his character. I actually got to see, what his character fully in the show, which I'm so thankful that they did the show, because otherwise I still would have been left on that cliff. Otherwise, I would have read the book.
Yeah, because there's so much going on. You got all these characters. You got, you got the aeronaut or aeronaut or something like an astronaut. Only they pilot these balloons, which is Sam Elliott's character. You have the Gypsum, which are amazing characters. You have the bear.
That was my favorite part of the whole movie, actually. The bear reclaiming his throne.
Or his throne and his armor. Oh,
well, yeah,
man.
Without his armor, he can't represent, basically.
Right. And I thought that was great. Even though, again, a lot of this stuff seemed crammed in. It seemed kind of, it still worked, I think, had they taken their time or with it, like in a series or something, which they did. You get a lot more because all these characters. I mean, the character Sam Elliott played, I forgot his name. He was amazing. I would have loved to know more about his past and what his part in of this journey. Where this leads him, because there's so much more going to happen to all these characters. I mean, it's like Lord of the Rings. All these characters have their arcs. They have the individual hero's journey. Each one of these.
Well, apparently the author Philip Pullman,
yes,
he was not happy with the results of the movie. Granted, he thought that the performances were great, but he did not like how the story turned out. That was not his baby. They chopped it up so bad. They left out so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
It really, you could tell, I think, just watching, if you really watch it, you can see the holes, and the missing pieces that made this story so unique.
Yeah, exactly. It is what it is. I mean, nonetheless, though, I still wanted to see what was going to happen, and I remember this. It pissed me off to shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it ends where basically finally the little girl gets back on the airboat or the airship. Sam Elliott's there, the bear's there. He had his massive battle. Now they're going to go on the real part of the mission. They're going to go rescue her father. And the end.
Yeah, I feel like all of that was just literally the beginning. Like, it didn't even start, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's sad because there's so much to tell. In fact, you mentioned the author, Pullman, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pullman was not the only author of these type of novels to speak out. R.R. Tolkien, who wrote, not R.R. Tolkien, Martin, yeah, the other one's dead. I don't think he saw this movie. The guy who wrote Game of Thrones, he cited this as an example as to why he would not want his Game of Thrones as a film.
Oh God, no. I mean, Jesus, no. I mean, the amount of detail, the amount of characters that you have to develop, it cannot be done in a film. And this definitely is the same thing. And like I said, I'm glad that they did go the route of making it a show after all. I didn't get to finish it, but I that's on my list to do.
Okay, now question: do you know if they continue the show, or because they cancel it, or are they still going on?
As far as I know, I mean, you know what? I'm not really sure if they're still going. I don't know if they actually finished it. Like I
Yeah,
said, moving from one state to another, I just kind of paused a bunch of stuff.
right.
But yeah,
Well,
it's a really good show though.
yeah, because I didn't want to get fucked again, because I saw this film, and I loved it, and I was ready for the sequel. I'm like, come on, really, you fuckers. So I don't want to have that happen again. I saw
It does go way beyond the first movie, that's for sure.
Okay, cool. So I might give it a chance. I mean, I'm gonna do a little research and make sure that they're continuing the story, and we'll finish it, because it was a bummer. I mean, again, it wasn't a perfect film, but they could really done some amazing things for it.
It had serious potential.
Oh, it really did. Now the budget at the time, let's get into the numbers, was about $180 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's about $272 million today. And the box office at the time of release was 372 million, which is about $563 million today. So it really wasn't a bomb per se. It was kind of like in the nether region area. It's like it made money, but not enough.
Jesus.
I remember right after it came out, I was looking, when's the sequel? And I kept reading all these articles. And yeah, the general consensus is, from the studio was that it made just enough money, but with those numbers, it's a risk. And so they decided not to go forward.
Yeah. I mean, bad or good, I just wanted some kind of closure.
Yeah, especially with that ending. It's like, oh man, they're floating away, into this massive, incredible journey. And, oh, I'm going to save my daddy. And you're all excited. And
Yep.
yeah, it was quite a bummer.
Yeah, especially after learning that that's her daddy.
Yeah, I think that was beautiful. It really was. And like I really, despite the fact I did have some qualm personally with the CGI, it wasn't horrible, but you could tell it's early CGI. But what I think really made it work was the characters and the what they call demons,
but yeah, they spelled demons.
Daemons, and those are the little spiritual counterparts to human beings.
I thought that was really cool. Basically their soul is in that animal.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You hurt the animal, you hurt the human, and vice versa.
Exactly. Just, I remember the part where she's in that machine where they're about to, sever the connection. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, I almost cried when the little fucker almost died.
It's serious. Yeah.
He was what was it?
It was like a ferret. It was ferret.
Yeah, he was so cute. And they could talk and everything. So that was pretty neat. I mean, again, that's what helped me get past the fact that the CGI was subpar or wasn't exactly there. But again, it was the characters, it was a story, and it was very enjoyable. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So let's go with some reviews and scores on this one.
Okay.
All right. So audience polled my cinema score, gave this film a grade of B on A to F. So it was really well, it got a good review, good numbers on that. Critic Roger Ebert, he gave this 4 out of 4 stars.
What? Wow.
Yeah, and he called it a darker, deeper fantasy epic than The Rings trilogy.
Oh, shit.
Or the Chronicle of Narnia, or the Harry Potter films.
Definitely fit into those all of those universes.
Yeah, so he, and it was favored. It has some mixed reviews, but Ebert loved it. IMDb sitting at a 6.1, Metacritic 51, Rotten Tomatoes critic score 42%, and audience score gave it a 51%, and Letterboxd 2.6 out of 5.
Wow.
And I think the reflection of those scores is probably rooted in the fact that there's no sequel, and it did seem rushed and a little too convoluted and confusing at the beginning.
Right. What a shame.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, I stated earlier, the planned sequels, for the sequels, with plural, it was, they were dropped, unfortunately, because of the underperformance at the U.S. box office. I mean, globally, it picked up and gave him somewhat of a profit, but it was the
It was too
domestic.
late.
Yeah, it was the domestic box office that killed it.
Hmm.
But and then you have, I mean, you have Christopher Lee, or Sir Christopher Lee.
Well, he wasn't even in it that long though.
Well, that's the kicker. A lot of these characters weren't these actors because they were supposed to have expanded roles in the sequels.
So he had like one line.
And he was amazing.
It was amazing.
He was good. It's fucking Count Doku. It's Dracula.
Count Dooku.
Doku, that guy.
Yeah.
And he was great. You know who the bear was, right? Who the voice of the bear?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Let me look back at my notes because I know I was like, what? Tell me, what was it?
Sir Ian McKellen.
Damn it, yes. Oh,
Gandalf the Grey. Yes.
he was a drunk ass bear.
Oh man, amazing voice. It just expanded the character, which again to me helped with the CGI because the character and the voice, it was just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to show you that what great acting can do to cover up subpar CGI effects.
Yeah, I mean, the studio obviously wanted to replicate the success of the Lord of the Rings trilogy,
Hmm.
and which is Christopher Lee, who was also in Lord of the Rings, as
That's
was
right.
in Ian McKellen. So
Hmm.
they were definitely trying to go into that, that popularity. I mean, they went so far as they had a 10-minute preview of this film shown to audiences at the Cannes Film Festival in 2007.
Oh my god, such
Yeah.
potential. Damn it, man! I think they dropped the ball.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they did the best they could, but I think New Line, I think it was New Line Cinema that did this, right? I believe.
I don't remember, but possibly.
Yeah, it was New Line Cinema, which was also Lord of the Rings.
Oh Oh, you know what? I did not know that.
Yeah. So yeah, they were definitely trying to continue this because Lord of the Rings 1, 2, 3, boom, they were done.
Mhm.
And so they wanted to continue that trend of these type of films. So
Sad.
it was. In fact, there's a rough cut of the original with a deleted ending. It had a different ending to this film, and you can find that
Mhm.
on YouTube, I believe. I haven't seen it, but
Hmm.
I was just so depressed and bummed out that it was
I
so
was too. I was
yeah.
too. I was like, God damn it, man.
Yeah. So what do you say we go into our review and rating on this?
All right, let's go.
All right. So you go first. Oh,
All right.
what are we rating this on?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, fuck. I forgot to write this one down. Polar
Buckets
bears.
I was gonna say buckets of whiskey.
Okay. On buckets of whiskey. Scale of 1 to 10 buckets of whiskey.
All right. So, I mean, I thought that, they built a wonderful world around this. It was beautiful. It was vibrant. My favorite part, of course, were the, the polar bears, the kingdom of the polar bears. Really great concept. I think this could have been a great movie. I'm going to give it 9 buckets of whiskey.
Ooh, that's pretty high. Okay.
Yeah. I thought granted, it was confusing, but I thought that it had such great potential once I fucking figured it out. But they didn't give me the sequel. But nonetheless, 9 buckets of whiskey.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I thought it was just beautifully shot. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of CGI. It was just CGI infused, but it was almost like a painting, and it was just beautifully done and beautifully shot. Great cast. We forgot to mention also there was tons of different types of characters in this film, and one of my favorite type of characters were the witches.
Oh, that's right, Serafina.
Yeah, and
Beautiful,
how they go.
beautiful.
And that whole battle that they have towards the end of the film, and the witches are swooping down from the sky and attacking the beautifully done. I mean, this was just chock full of characters of potential. So I thought it was beautiful, great cast. It had a flawed script, but I think with ensuing sequels, it would have ironed out. I think they would have taken their time. So I enjoyed it a lot, and so I'm going to give this 7.5 buckets of whiskey out of 10.
Whiskey.
Whiskey. So So now the sequel, and I think we all know what the answer is. So I'm going to ask you first: sequel or no sequel?
Oh, sequel.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. And as far as myself, I agree. I would go with sequel. Definitely.
It could have been the next big thing.
It could have. It could have. It's funny how films work that way. It just takes one little decision this way or that way to gear a film to its destiny. Who knows? One decision this way could have made this the next great, saga film like Lord of the Rings, but instead it's just pretty much a footnote in history at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Thank God for HBO for making it into a series.
Yeah, which is a great series. Yeah,
Mhm.
which I have to watch.
Yeah, you should definitely give it a try.
All right, definitely. All right, so next up, dragons take to the air.
Gather my army, leave no one alive.
They will follow you.
One false move, everything is lost.
I'm the rider, and I say we go.
In his homeland of Algacia, a farm boy happens upon a dragon's egg, a discovery that leads him on a predestined journey where he realizes he's the one who can defend his home against an evil king. The movie we are talking about is Eragon from 2006, and it is directed by Stefan Fangmeyer. The film stars Peter Buckman and Christopher Paolini. So, again, here is another one that I saw only once.
Yeah. I only saw this once. This was the second time I ever seen it.
Okay, so I'm gonna give my takes on this. First of all, it had a pretty decent little cast. I mean, it wasn't chock full of talent. I mean, it had some great, performers in it. You got John Malkovich, who I love.
Yep.
We didn't get enough.
No, really. He's freaking awesome. I wanted more.
Right, but again, I think the reason behind that was the same with the previous film. He was going to get more airtime, or he was going to get more screen time in the sequel.
Oh, definitely, especially that ending.
Yes, well, which we will get to. That one pissed me the fuck off when I saw it this time.
Yes,
And not in a bad way, like, oh, that sucked, but we'll talk about that.
yeah,
And we have Jeremy Irons, who I always love.
yeah. Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
Now, my take on this overall, it's not a very original film.
No, not at all.
I mean, if you think about it, the movie is Star Wars.
Okay, I saw that somewhere when I was doing my research.
Yeah,
I don't see the parallels.
Okay, here we go. And
Okay.
I'm watching it. I'm like, and it starts to come together towards the end.
Okay.
First of all, you have a young farm boy
Okay.
with a destiny.
All right.
He gets a secret or something delivered to him by a beautiful young woman who he's mystified by.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, this takes place at a time where there was once a great time of a certain type of warrior. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Our young hero, he meets an older man who was once one of these great warriors.
Oh my God! How did I miss this?
Okay. The young hero in training, he's reckless and he's impulsive.
Yep.
He has an uncle who was killed before he goes on his journey, and this motivates him even more so to fight this evil villain. Then he meets he meets the ex-warrior, which is the old man who trains him in the ways of his destiny, what he's been chosen for. Okay. And he tells him, I must lead you to the rebels.
Oh Lord!
Okay. And there's so much more.
Wow! You know what? Mind blown.
It's fucking Star Wars.
Oh wow. Okay, but you know what though? It wasn't that bad.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something.
All right.
What came to mind as I'm watching this is that, yeah, there's tons of movies that we watch and we go, oh, come on, this is the exact same plot as. Like, for example, did you like the Fast and the Furious, the original? first one, and that was
Yeah.
you
Okay.
do realize that is a movie called Point Break with Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. It's the same
Shit.
film. You have these extreme sports people, and they're doing something illegal, and they send in an FBI guy or special agent to infiltrate. He infiltrates, and he becomes one of them, and he starts to sympathize with them. Same plot.
Ooh, shit. Yeah,
So
seriously.
yeah, so it's not uncommon. I mean, there's no such thing as an original story, but it's about how you dress it. And in my personal humble opinion, if you can get away with it in the sense that you entertain people in the process and it's still a lot of fun, then that's fine. I see nothing wrong with
Exactly. Yeah, true that. I
it.
agree.
Yeah. And with Aragon, Aragon was a pretty decent film. It was a lot of fun. Even though it is a carbon copy of Star Wars, or used the fundamental blueprints for its storyline. So
Damn.
yeah,
Yeah. Truthfully, like I say, I've seen Star Wars a gajillion times. I so fucking missed that. I did not see that at all.
yeah. I mean, probably because you were taken in by the story, by the characters, by the the visuals, and you're there. You don't start to wander. My fucking brain wanders. Like I said earlier, I have the attention span of a fucking fly. So I start thinking and shit, right? I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's Ben Kenobi. Ben Kenobi was in Star Wars. He was a Jedi, so I start to drift off sometimes, but
Maybe that's why I enjoyed the movie.
probably you were more focused. I mean, I was focused as well, but my brain is very unique. It works in weird ways. But did he do it well? I think so, and it was a lot of fun.
And to be honest, it's very impressive because the author of this book, when he first wrote this, when he first started writing it, he was 15.
Wow, so he was just a kid.
He was 15 years old and then self-published at 18.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Well, that would explain the because the film is fun, and it's obviously a very soft, tame medieval era film.
Mhm.
It's violent, but it's not too violent. It's just right for kids. The certain ideas or the storylines seem like something a teenager would come up with.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it was and apparently this movie was supposed to be part of a trilogy. The last book was supposed to be split in two.
Wow, kind of like Lord, what was it?
Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. That's right.
Mhm.
Wow, that would have been great. I mean, this one, just like the previous film we just discussed, the CGI did throw me off, but because it was a cute little fucking dragon, really cute, like a little baby dragon, it was cute.
I liked it. The big grown dragon, she was awesome.
Oh, amazing! And that was Rachel Wise, by the way,
Rachel Weisz.
the Mummy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was the voice of the dragon. Now, that also kind of took me back to an earlier film with Dennis Quaid called Dragonheart, where
Yes.
the dragon also had a voice. Well, that one actually talked. This one talks through his mind.
Wasn't that one Sean Connery?
Sean Connery, yeah, that was
Yeah,
Sean Connery.
he was a cool fucking dragon.
Yeah. Well, I unfortunately, when I saw it, I had obtained I'd say about a year before the film came out.
Mhm.
I obtained a copy of the script from somebody who worked at the studio,
Oh, okay.
and I read it, and it was incredible. It was an amazing script. I wish I would have kept it. I don't know where the hell it is.
Oh, you
But
serious?
yeah, I have no idea where I left it, and it was beautiful.
Oh,
There's a scene where I know there was a scene where there's a king. He's out in battle, and and he loses his crown. He gets killed, and so forth. The crown hits the ground, and somebody picks it up. That whole sequence in the script was amazing. It was it was set at night during a rainstorm and thunderstorm,
wow.
and it was just amazing. Of course, budgetary reasons, they filmed it during the day, but that's for another podcast. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent here.
It's dragons,
Yeah, exactly. But that was a good film as well. I thought it was pretty decent. Script was a lot better. But I really did enjoy this. I mean, the whole gist here, like we laid out the plot earlier with the Star Wars thing.
Basically.
Yeah. And what it is that there's this young woman, she's in possession of a dragon's egg, and they're chasing her down because the dragons at that point were extinct, like the Jedi.
Oh god, and I'm just seeing Princess Leia, oh god, okay.
You see, exactly. In Star Wars, it was a secret Death Star
Document.
plans.
Yep.
And here is the dragon's egg, which will determine the fate of the future against this evil empire or this evil kingdom.
Jesus, I still liked it.
you're,
Pretty egg.
you're like, yeah, that is fucking lame, but I still liked it. God damn it.
I know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought it was really cool. Dragons.
No, it was, and it's definitely a family film. Another thing that kind of started ringing to light as I'm watching it was How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay, yeah.
Certain elements had that same tonality. It's not an extraordinarily violent film. There's not a lot of blood, so it was definitely aimed for children.
It gave me Willow vibes.
Yeah, but Willow was bad.
I liked Willow.
Oh, that was bad.
But I mean, that tone where it's family friendly.
Right, exactly, and it was cute and fun, and it had its cute little humor, and yeah, I thought it was a decent little, I guess it's comparable to what a young adult novel would be like.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And yeah, so I definitely enjoyed that.
The only thing that I had issue with was just the underdevelopment of certain characters, like that kid in black that was just thrown in out of nowhere. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Han Solo.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude.
Are you sure you weren't watching Star Wars?
I'm serious.
Oh, God.
Jesus, like an awakening. Good Lord.
I'm telling you, the more you pull, you start peeling that onion, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, seriously. But nonetheless, I mean, his character wasn't really developed, well. It's just he was just thrown in there. I felt nothing for the dude.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing with the previous film. There was supposed to be more development and growth for these characters, for these, for the sequels, which unfortunately never happened.
Apparently, there was a bunch of characters that were omitted as well.
Yeah, and that is, I'm sure it's due to the fact that time constraints. It's never easy to adapt a novel or some kind of literature on like that, to faithfully adapt it.
Oh yeah, you're always going to get some kind of hate from readers,
right? Unless you're Peter Jackson, who wrote, did the Lord of the Rings, which they did omit a lot of shit. They actually combined certain characters to make one character.
They did. I read the books, and oh my god, there was so much that they left out. That was just they went into the history of the tree ants. Those walking trees.
Well, like for this one, the Durza, they're like shades or something. Really,
like witches and wizards.
Something like that. These creatures like the orcs from Lord of the Rings.
Dude, they look like orcs.
Yeah. Well, they weren't in the book.
Yep. No, they weren't.
No, and they were created just for the film.
I mean, I think it turned out fine, but like I say, certain characters, I wish they would have, like that chick, running with the egg.
Right.
She was supposed to be an elf.
Oh, really?
Yes, she was supposed to be an elf.
I can see that. She definitely had that look. I think same thing as before. They were trying to capitalize on the whole Lord of the Rings, the whole phenomena with those films.
Oh yeah, they were trying to say something about the name on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Eragon, but I mean it's a play on the word dragon. But they were trying to say that he took the name from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's right. The main character.
Uh-huh.
Well, Elijah Wood, he was considered for the role of Eragon.
As was Shia LaBeouf.
Right, that psycho guy. I mean, he's a good. I'm sorry, he's a good actor. He really is, but he kind of went off the rails.
He has problems.
Yeah, and either one I think would have done just well. Emily Blunt, she was also up for the role of Arya. She was up for that as well. But unfortunately, I think also because there wasn't as much star power involved in this film, it probably got a lesser budget from the studio.
Well, they also wanted Ian McKellen and or Patrick Stewart. They offered them the role of Brom.
Wow!
But they turned it down. Why? Because they were doing as the X-Men.
Oh, that's right. They were
Mhm.
Magneto and Professor X.
Yep, yep.
Wow. And I think Ian McKellen would have given it a good flair, but you know what? I don't think he would have. I really don't think he would have taken the role.
No, but nonetheless, I think Jeremy Irons, I think he was awesome.
Yeah. I think he did a pretty decent job
Mhm.
with the film. So now let's go with some the ratings here. The scores. IMDb is sitting at a 5.1.
Okay.
Yeah, Metacritic 38. Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score 16%
Wow.
with an audience score of 46, and Letterbox 1.8 stars out of 5.
Jesus. Well, no wonder they didn't get a sequel.
Yeah, so I didn't get the numbers because I totally forgot to get the numbers, but it did make money. It did really badly at the box office, and of course, that pretty much is why the film just sunk the way it did, and didn't get there was at least 3 films that were supposed to be made.
What a shame, because I really would have liked to have seen if this was gonna the second one was gonna be like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, huh? Like,
You know what? I'm gonna read the book. I'm so gonna read the book.
well, you know what? The king in the first in this film,
That's his father.
that's his father. No, I don't
No
know.
bullshit. You know what? I'm gonna read the book.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, dude. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna read the book. No bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, the movie ends because there's only one dragon, and the dragon rider's gonna come back and replenish the kingdom with justice and so forth. But what's not known until the very end, the king, the evil king, was played by John Malkovich. He's pissed off at the end because he just got defeated. So there's this huge tapestry covering this wall, and he starts slashing at the tapestry, and hiding behind it, behind the wall, is a,
Hello.
a dragon,
Yeah.
a bad dragon. And the movie ends right there. And it was an exciting ending. I thought it was pretty cool. And watching it again, I'm watching it. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Really? I was pissed. And not because I didn't like the movie, but because I would have loved to seen, because what it's saying there is that we're going to have dragon battles in the sequel.
Yeah, pretty much.
And yeah, that kind of blew.
That would have been awesome. But,
Yeah.
but my thing is that that king was kind of lazy. He could have gotten that fucking dragon and just tore apart that other dragon, and yeah, movie's done.
Yeah, but yeah, and then we wouldn't have needed the sequel.
Lazy.
Yeah. That's true. Why didn't he unleash the dragon in the beginning? But you know what? I think maybe the motivation or the reasoning behind that would have been further established and laid out within the sequel.
Yeah. We were not offered that chance
And we're never going to find out.
unless we read the book.
Unless we read the book, which, you know what? I just might do that as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I as much as I love to read, I don't have time. But I would love to read the sequel.
I'm gonna do it.
All right. And you let me know.
I will let you know. I'll let you guys. I'll let everybody know.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll give a quick. Let me give you my ratings on this. We're gonna rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 dragon eggs.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So the movie was fantastical. It was a lot of fun. It's great family fare. The story is simple, however, not original at all. But despite the fact with that huge flaw on it, that it is a carbon copy of the Star Wars films, or even, to go further, it's the hero's journey that it's replicating. And so even Star Wars borrowed from Joseph Campbell on that type of storytelling.
Right.
But here it was flagrantly obvious, but it worked. I'm not going to be a fucking snob here and go, well, it copied it, so it's not original, so it sucks, and it bored me. No, I was not fucking bored. I enjoyed this. I hate it when people say that shit. Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen it before, so it was so boring. Well, don't fucking watch movies. I'm sorry. I just had to get that off my chest.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
So for what it was an enjoyable film. It was, really nicely shot, and it was just entertaining. So I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give this 7 out of 10 dragon eggs.
Okay. All right. Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I mean, who can't appreciate a movie with fucking dragons?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I love the connection with was it Saphira?
Oh, yeah.
Saphira and Eragon. I thought it was really cute. I loved it. I would have loved to have seen more. Yeah, it was what it was. It was fun. So I'm gonna give it. I think I'm also gonna give it seven dragon eggs.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. It wasn't a great film, but it was fun. It was nice. It wasn't offensive. It wasn't annoying.
Mm-mm.
It was a good film.
Yeah,
It definitely,
exactly.
yeah, I'd recommend it for families to watch together. It's really nice.
Yep, definitely.
All right, so the question: sequel or no sequel?
I would watch a sequel.
Same here. Definitely, I'd have to give this a sequel, and just to further the story. It was so now we're done with that. Let's go into some recommendations of films that never got a sequel. That people think that they weren't intended to have a sequel, but once they got successful, there was like talk of sequels, and but they never happened. So the first one we're going to go with is from 2009, directed by Neil Blomkamp. Film called District 9. Have you seen
District
this?
9. Oh
Yeah.
God, you know what? I seen it a long time ago when it very first came out. I just don't remember it.
Okay, so basically, it's you have refugee aliens from another planet, and they end up in South Africa, and there's like an alien camp, like a refugee camp, and it's kind of told like not found footage, but almost like film footage, and it's very handheld and shaky. An amazing film, really, really good. If you ever get a chance, I highly recommend it. And there's still talk about a sequel, but it hasn't happened yet, and I don't know if it will happen, especially with the landscape of cinema today, how films are distributed, how they're put together, how they're marketed. So I don't know. It's a different game nowadays.
Who
So
knows?
this, yeah, and it was supposed to be called District 10, and so it would have been good. So another film from 1994. To me, an underrated classic. It did really good box office, and it was a fuck ton of fun. True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis.
That was such a cool freaking movie.
So much fun. Arnold Schwarzenegger riding a horse through a hotel and onto a roof of a hotel. How much more fucking cool can you get? I mean, that was bad. And he gets into an elevator with the horse.
Holy crap.
Oh man, so there was definitely talk about a sequel for that, but it never came about, unfortunately. That was directed by James Cameron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's surprising it didn't get a sequel, being that it was him. So another film that they talked about a sequel and would have been funny, but I think at this point in time it would be unfunny because one of them has become one of the actors in this is unfunny now. The movie's called Step Brothers.
Step Brothers.
With Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. They're like
yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
A couple of 40-year-olds
Oh,
who still live with their parents, and then their parents get married and they become step brothers. Then they act like a couple of fucking teenagers fighting, and oh god, the movie's ridiculous.
it sounds ridiculous. I never watched it.
Oh, I recommend it. It is funny, and there's one scene in it that will just make you cringe, but it'll tear you up. Let's just say it has to do with drum set and scrotum.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, scrotum and a drum set. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know if I'm intrigued by that or not.
Or terrified.
Jesus.
But the it's really hilarious, and unfortunately, I mean, to me, Will Ferrell is very, very unfunny now.
Yeah, he's a little extreme.
Yeah,
just too much. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, he thinks it's still 20. You know, he goes about his roles as if it was still 20 years ago, and you know he has to grow. Like Jim Carrey kind of eventually grew out of that, and but yeah, I mean, you haven't seen Barbie yet, right?
Nope, not gonna watch it.
Good. It's look, I'm not here saying that nobody should watch it. I don't like to do that. I don't like to tell people this movie sucked, don't watch it. No, I thought it sucked. If you want to watch it, if it tickles your fancy, by all means watch it, and if you enjoy it, good for you.
Yeah.
To me, there was too much fucking pink in that movie. It made
my thing is something that's overly hyped usually turns me off bad.
Yeah, you get all that hyperbole surrounding something. You're like, well, now I don't give a shit. And
I'm gonna do the opposite.
yeah, I mean, but even before the hype, I didn't want to see it. I thought it looked bad. So, I personally thought it was dog shit. That was just my opinion. There's a lot of Barbie lovers out there. But again, I want to harken back to, these reviews that I give, these opinions that I give. I'm not telling anybody you shouldn't watch a movie, even if it's Drop Dead Fred. If you want to watch it,
Yeah, you
and
might actually like it.
you might actually like it, and that's great. That's the beauty and the magic of film. So, I mean, even with an atrocious film like Drop Dead Fred, you might enjoy it.
Leave Drop Dead Fred alone.
I'm gonna keep harking on that one. Mac and Me was
Oh
better.
my! Oh Jesus Christ! No.
Another film it was a banger of a film. It did really great box office. Brad Pitt, World War Z.
Ooh, I love that movie. I love zombie movies. Love
Oh,
freaking zombie movies.
me too.
Yes.
And shameless plug, we did do an episode on zombies in season 1. Go back
Oh,
and check it out. It's just great. I love zombie films.
I
I
can't
really, really
believe
do.
you guys did that episode without me.
You would have loved it. It was fun. You know what? Maybe we'll revisit the zombie genre because we did funny zombie films.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we'll attack the zombie genre directly in the George Romero farm of zombie films.
Oh my god, yes. I love zombies. I love zombie movies. They're my shit.
Yeah. And I have a story that I'll retell once we do that episode. I told it on that episode, and I'll tell it again later on.
Okay.
Once we get to that episode.
All right.
And finally, there was another film. It did pretty well, and it wasn't that bad. But I guess it didn't hit the kind of box office numbers that it was supposed to get. Was a film with Tom Cruise called The Edge of Tomorrow, and it's basically, and I thought it was great. It's classic science fiction, where this military officer, he goes to war, and basically, as soon as he gets on the battlefield, he gets killed
Well, that sucks.
in the beginning of the film, and then he wakes up and he's like still on base, preparing to go.
Oh.
And then he gets to the same point where he died before, but he goes a little further. And he dies a little further down the line. And he goes right back. And it keeps going back and forth. And it's a really good film. It really is.
So familiar.
Yeah.
That whole concept, it sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it somewhere else.
Yeah, it's definitely been done before. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds
And
good.
even to recently, of course, with the success of Top Gun Maverick, there was talk about doing an Edge of Tomorrow Part 2.
Wow.
Yeah. And that came out, in 2014? So, yeah, unlikely we'll get a sequel. Now, going back to World War Z, there's not going to be a sequel. But last I heard, Amazon Television or streaming channel,
Oh, the Prime? Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime is developing a series based on World War Z, produced by Brad Pitt's production company.
Oh my god, that's gonna be so freaking awesome.
Yes, and yeah, so we could possibly have another zombie series that would not suck ass like The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead was, you know what? I never got to finish it. The little spin-offs. I still intend to finish it, but yeah, there was another show on Sci-Fi. What was it? Z Nation.
Yeah, I started watching that because I got tired of The Walking Dead, and it was less than good. I really didn't care much for it.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah, but World War Z, or as the British call it, World War Z, it would be a great series. I think it would be a lot of fun, and hopefully they go through with it.
I hope so. That I would love to see it.
Yeah. Now let's talk about a couple of films, 2 films that did get sequels, but should not have gotten sequels. Okay.
Okay.
The first one, Starship Troopers.
Oh my god, I loved the first one. The first one was badass. Did not see the second one.
Yeah, it was dog shit. It was bad. I did not care for it.
Oh man.
Well, the thing is that it did not have the same kind of political bite that the original film did.
Right.
The first one was directed by Paul Verhoeven.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this satirical, political, social spin on his films,
Mm-hmm.
and very smart, very, very smart, point of view. It's satire, and you have a different director now with a different approach, and it was just flat. I think the tone and the gist of the original is what made Starship Troopers so good.
Mm-hmm.
And the same goes with the other film that did get a sequel that shouldn't have, and that movie's RoboCop.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Verhoeven directed the original also, and it had that political satire, and it just the sequel fell flat. It was directed by, I believe, Fred Decker, who's not a bad director, but it was just missing something.
Definitely, yeah. Certain movies you just leave it alone. It does not. That one did not need a sequel.
Not at all. And
Starship Troopers, yeah, I would have loved to have seen a good sequel, but yeah, it was let down.
Well, it spawned like I'm not sure, maybe 3-4 sequels, and there is a cult following. There's fans of these films, and that's great. But good for them. But I tried to watch the second one, and it just felt like, I don't know. You ever been to like a swap meet and they're selling like a Mickey Mouse doll, but it wasn't made by Walt Disney. It was made by some third world country, and he has an elongated nose and bigger feet, and you go, that's not fucking Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, basically, you ordered something. You ordered Starship Troopers from Wish, and this is what you got.
Yeah, exactly. Starship Troopers 2.
Yep.
So that pretty much covers, I think, sequels overall.
Yeah, I think sequels are just they're very what is that word? They're very risky.
They are, and it's very rare that you get sequels that work.
Mm-hmm.
Or in some cases that supersede the original. Look at Star Trek, the original Star Trek film in 1978. Star Trek 2 was better, and then Star Trek 3 was even better, and then Star Trek 4 was even better. Wow. But that's a fucking anomaly. You don't see that every day.
No, you don't.
Or you got Star Wars and you got Empire.
Yeah.
And so that's it's rare occurrence. Or Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick.
You really thought that it was better than the first one?
Yes, I definitely, and I love the first one. I mean, to me, if Top Gun was an 8.5, Maverick was an 11.
Wow. Yeah. I love the movie. Actually, you know what? I've been meaning to rewatch Maverick again.
Oh yeah, that's one movie I can never fucking get tired of. I can watch it over and over and over again.
Such an awesome movie. I'm so happy that I got to see it twice in the theater.
Yes. Alrighty. So what do you say we wind this down?
Okie dokie.
Alrighty. So next week we're doing originals versus remakes.
Okay.
Poltergeist from 1982 and its remake Poltergeist from 2015.
Oh.
Hey, nobody said podcasting was an easy job, okay?
Man. Oh, man. We're doing this for you people so that way you guys don't have to do it.
Exactly. We're going to take
Unless you want to.
Unless you want to. So that's next week as we dive into originals versus remakes.
All right. Sounds good.
All righty. So don't forget, please tune in next week for that one. It's going to be interesting. All right. So we really hope you enjoyed the show. Please help to support the podcast by giving us a nice 5-star rating and leave us a good review. Or another way you can help to support us is simply to subscribe and or follow us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Also, don't forget to drop by and leave us a comment on Instagram, TikTok. Check out our YouTube channel. We have all our current episodes on there as well. Email us if you have any comments at thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. All these links, they're in our new link tree link below. So make sure you click on that and it'll lead you to all of our links and all of our fun stuff. All righty. So Daisy.
Yes.
Final thought of the day.
Final thought of the day. Dragons rule. I have nothing.
Okay. That was profound.
Yeah, that was very profound. You put me on the damn spot.
The profundities. No, you know what? fuck it, dragons dual rule, and then and in Eragon, it was pretty cool. So if you get a chance, folks, definitely I would recommend watching it. All right. So with that being said, I'm Joe.
I'm Daisy.
And this is the Film Joe podcast, where film talk happens.